as part of our everyday life as individuals, when it comes to our daily activities, our daily life, our livelihood, there are certain things that we need that are key, that are constant. They have to be part of our lives for our life to go on, for our daily routines and activities. It's the same thing applies to motherhood, to parenting. If you're a mother, if you're a father, if you're a parent and you have a kid at home, there are things that you need to have in your home constantly, especially if you have a newborn. My name is Anaya. This is Abata, and you're here on City Star TV. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, kindly do so. The notification bell is right there. Do not miss that. Press on that, and then you don't miss out on any other exciting episodes that we have. Follow us on all our social media handles on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. The name is City Star TV. Give me a few minutes, and I'll be right back. So welcome back. Before I left, I told you that there are certain things that we need to have constantly in our homes, in our daily lives, to help us with our daily activities, and the same thing applies to being a parent. So if you're a parent, if you're a mother of a newborn, a father of a newborn, I'm about to tell you certain things that you need to have. If you're expecting to be a mother, these are things that you need to have in your home. Now you need to think about this. You're bringing your baby home. Is your home child-proofed? Now, if you're living in a place that is really with equipment that are exposing, that your baby can get access to easily, you need to put certain things in check and make sure that you have child-proof your home and it's safe for your baby, especially if you have an infant, a toddler, somebody who's just beginning to walk or crawl around the place. Now, let's talk newborns. Now, you're bringing a newborn home. Where is the baby going to sleep? Are you going to sleep on the baby with the baby on your bed? Then you're going to need your baby blankets to be there for your baby's comfort. You can't share the same things that you use with your baby, because as adults, there are certain things, chemicals that we use in our bathing soap, in our washing detergents that are very not good or recommended for our babies. You can use these things to cover your baby, and before you know, your baby is suffering from some kind of rashes you cannot deal with or you cannot cure. So it's very good to have the recommended, the silk, the material, everything is different. You need to have these because that is what is recommended for your babies. Now, talking about that, you need to have, when it comes to your baby's skincare treatment, you need to have baby oil. Don't expect to come and use the cosmetics you use on your skin with your babies. You can't do that. So you need to get recommended baby care, skincare products like baby oils, like baby soaps, because they are made with safe ingredients, things that even if you are bathing your baby with, that it enters your baby's nostrils or his or her mouth, it's not going to cause your baby to fall sick or die. Imagine this. We adults, as adults, we use a lot of skincare products that are very they have strong chemicals in them, and you use those for your baby, and in the process of bathing your baby, some gets into its nose, its eyes, or its mouth. And sometimes you can control it because you're pouring water on your baby and your baby's crying and kicking, and sometimes something can get into their eyes or their nose or their mouth. Accidents happen. So you just need to ensure that whatever you're using for your baby is child recommended. It's completely safe for your baby. Another thing you're going to need, you need to decide if you are going to breastfeed your baby exclusively, then this is not negotiable at all. You're going to need to have a breast pump. You need a breast pump, because I will say at every point in time, there needs to be breast milk available for your baby. You don't have to wait till your baby is crying and hungry and now you're trying to see if you can produce some breast milk. No, absolutely not. That is not acceptable as a mother or as a parent of a newborn. You need to have breast pump so you can pump some of the milk and put it aside, which means you're going to need to have a refrigerator or a cooler, something that you can store the breast milk in to keep it safe, to keep it from going bad, that your baby can use at all times. So you're going to also need a feeding bottle, because once you pop the breast milk and you put it aside, you can't put it back into your breast and feed your baby with it. You're going to need a breast pump to pump the milk out, and then you're going to store it in feeding bottles that you're going to be able to keep safe and store them in cool places so the milk doesn't go bad. You're also going to need bib, and these are what we call them. You're going to need a bib. for your babies, because babies, they tend to be really, really messy, and they are going to be spilling things. And so you are going to need to have all these things available before your baby comes. Imagine this. Your baby is spilling stuff and you're now looking around for something close by to wipe your baby. That's no, 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 no. You can't take a dirty cloth to wipe your baby's chin or your baby's mouth because your baby spilled. You are introducing bacteria and probably infections to your baby when you do so. You need to care about your baby's health and have your baby's stuff always ready and untouched. So you're going to need to have that in your home. And still on the mouth and what goes into your baby's mouth, you're going to need pacifiers. Babies tend to cry a lot. And it's not all the time that you necessarily need to pick the baby up and be bobbing it up and down or carrying it up and down. It can be stressful on you, the mother. So if your baby is lying next to you, you've fed your baby, you've cleaned your baby, and it's crying, sometimes they cry. Yes, sometimes there can be reasons, but other times they are just crying because they are babies, and that's what they do. So pacifiers help. You put it in your baby's mouth, they have something to suck on, not necessarily breasts, or they are not feeding, so you don't overfeed them. So they have something to suck on, and sometimes helps them to curb the crying. You have a little peace and quiet in your home, and then you can relax. So that's also something I would recommend. Don't ever miss out on having formula. I know sometimes we even decide to do exclusive breastfeeding. It doesn't mean that we can just throw away formula. You never know what might happen, but it helps to have it on hand. So if there is, in case of an emergency, you're not now running helter-skelter, trying to get some formula to come and give or prepare for your baby if you are unable to produce breast milk for your baby. So you need to have formula on hand at all times. And baby diapers. Because whatever goes into your baby needs to come out, and it has to come out from somewhere. So when it comes out, it's going to stain it needs to stain something. You have a choice. You can either have it stain all your bed sheets and your clothes and be washing them up and down. Yeah, before ni yetaya sapa tetena ni ebon a napkin and a pampers a buso or bad time ma ebi wo fie and try mane nsa no akasa akosia beji 2 cedi ana 3 cedi to make akoshe ante se wa store ho se we bi ana na koto pampers mami or bad time de enye sa eba ne sa na se okono wenye bia na off they will be exposed wo ba no. Then you're coming to find a way to cover your baby up to for if they pee, they'll be lying in their pee or in their poop. It is not recommended that you have a baby and not have diapers at home readily and available at all times. So we are still talking about the things you absolutely need to have at home if you're going to be a mother of a newborn. Stay tuned and I'll be right back. Hi, welcome back. You're still watching About Tanya, and we are here talking about the things you absolutely need to have in your home if you're the mother of a newborn or you're bringing home a newborn. And before I think I ended on the diaper thing. So we are going straight to their health. Their health matters. I'm going to you, the mother. You've come back from labor, you're bleeding. You absolutely need to have tampons or what we call menstrual pads at home at all times. You don't need to use cloth and be staining yourself because you're going to be bleeding for a while. So it's absolutely necessary to have that for your own health, to make sure that you don't expose yourself to infections that will put you out of the into harm's way, and you'll be able to take care of your baby. Now, whilst you are still on the health thing, let's go to the babies. So babies, they are very young and sometimes they can fall sick, especially for a few months, after a few months old, when you introduce different foods to them. Now, sometimes the most common sicknesses among babies is vomiting and stool and diarrhea. And when this happens, and it's an emergency, you need to have a first aid kit for your baby. And basically, I don't recommend any medication that hasn't been prescribed by a doctor, except this one. It's called oral rehydration solution, what we call ORS. As a parent, you need to always have this on hand. It's not a highly concentrated chemical medication. No, it's not. It's actually very much recommended. In fact, if your baby is having diarrhea and you take him or her to the hospital, the first thing the nurses will do is give him or her ORS, because it's the first aid to replace all the water and the new most of the water that the baby lost during the stooling and the vomiting. So as a mother, If you're home for your baby's health, you never know. Sometimes babies cry a lot and you don't even know what is going on with them. You need to have this on hand. You may never know what is wrong with your baby. So you need to have this on hand. You need to have a thermometer if you can. If you can afford it, because sometimes your baby run a temperature, and when you go for postnatal care, they tell you that at a certain temperature, you need to be cautious. And most of the time, we use the back of our hand or our hand to check our baby's forehead and other stuff to check their temperature. But imagine this: if you have the thermometer at home, you can just put it in your baby's armpits, or yes, and then you know your baby's temperature, and then you know you need to be worried and rush the baby to the hospital. So for those of you that drive everywhere that you go, you know, most of those that don't drive, they just carry their babies in their arms, or they have these baby carriers with them. You need to have that to aid in carrying your baby effectively and to shield your baby. So you are walking, you're carrying your baby, you don't bump into somebody and then you get your baby hurt or anything. So it's best if you have a baby carrier, if you can afford it, get one. And at least you carry your baby on your front or your back. And you know, most of them come with covering that can shield your baby from the sun and all this. And for those of you that drive, as I said earlier, you need to have a baby seat in your car. There's been so many incidences where parents just strap their babies into their cars with the seat belt, and even the position, the baby bumps, there's a bump and the baby breaks their neck. There's a bump and the baby breaks their neck and you kill your baby. It's happened so many times on more than one occasion where parents just strap their kids into their car without a car seat and they lose their baby. You need to have safety measures in your car. You need to child-proof your car. You need to have a car seat in your car to make sure that when you put your baby in there, your baby is safe. You need to take measures. Things that you feed your baby with, you need to make sure where you store them is absolutely clean. Before you put anything on your baby, you put anything into your baby, make sure, double check, triple check, make time to make sure that everything you're giving to your baby is absolutely neat, absolutely clean, and there'll be no health effects whatsoever on your baby. I hope you have learned a lot. I hope you have taken down some notes to know what things you absolutely need to have at home if you're a newborn mother or a mother of a baby or a parent. I hope you've learned a lot. This has been a very informative and educative episode of About Time Here. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and follow us on all our social media handles: Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. My name is Danaya. I'm always your host. Catch you same time next week.